Hey, welcome in. So my last video was about YouTube deleting one of my videos that was about YouTube deleting an interview with Donald Trump on the Full Send podcast. And it looks like YouTube's working overtime because they just pulled down another Donald Trump video. So will YouTube delete this video now that I'm making about YouTube deleting another Donald Trump interview? I don't know, but one thing is for sure. YouTube sure doesn't like Donald Trump. Anyway, what happened here? YouTube pulls RNC interview with Donald Trump over, you guessed it, misinformation. And I think you can guess what misinformation they're talking about. Let's see. YouTube pulled a recent interview with Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel and former President Donald Trump on Friday for violating the platform's rules against misinformation. And why did they do this? Well, Trump did what he always does, and he made references to the 2020 election. You know what those references are. And that's a no-no for YouTube, and YouTube doesn't allow anybody to say that on their platform because apparently big tech rules the world now. You thought you had rights? You thought you had human rights? You thought you had a constitution? No, you don't. You've got YouTube's terms of service. That's your new constitution. Doesn't matter which country you're in either, right? Just any country. I'm in Canada, and they pulled my video for telling you what Donald Trump said on a podcast. Not making any claims myself, just telling you what he said, what he thinks, which would seem to be kind of relevant. I mean, he is a major political figure. Would seem that it would be important for people to know what he thinks. And for God's sakes, everybody does know what he thinks already. This achieves nothing. Well, it achieves nothing except for, I guess, intimidating creators, journalists, whoever, from actually describing events accurately. And more importantly, from straying from the leftist, big tech, corporate media narrative. They like that narrative, and they want you to like that narrative. In fact, they insist that you like that narrative. They insist that you smile and say, more, please. That's the point of this, right? They want you to know that they're running the show now. But anyway, let's see. YouTube informed the RNC. The RNC, the Republican National Committee. It's unbelievable. They're telling the RNC to sit down and shut up. I don't care what political party they're doing it to. I don't care what political party and what country they're doing it to. This is dystopian. So in an email obtained by the Daily Wire, YouTube said that the episode was pulled because Trump was talking about the 2020 election and saying things about it that YouTube doesn't like. It's not part of their narrative. And they're saying it didn't include sufficient context with countervailing views. So it didn't include big tech approved propaganda, essentially. Because if it's something that you can't argue with, that you can't dissent from, it's not countervailing views, it's propaganda. Look at how their letter starts to, I wanted to let y'all know. Y'all? It's like they don't even take it seriously. It's like it's a joke to them. But anyway, it says, to clarify, this content would be permitted if it included sufficient context with countervailing views. Well, what if you don't agree with those views? What if those countervailing views are wrong? Again, if you can't question it, it's propaganda. But anyway, talking to the Daily Wire, McDaniel said, quote, YouTube's decision to remove a filmed conversation between former President Trump and the chairwoman of the Republican Party is just the latest example of big tech's chilling approach to censoring conservative opinion. And it's not even just conservative opinion anymore. It's traditional liberal opinion. Just middle-of-the-road centrist opinion. Anything that doesn't conform with their narrative. Anyway, quote, Silicon Valley oligarchs care more about advancing their political agenda and deplatforming their opponents than they do about free speech. Well, they don't like free speech. They've made that clear. Because what is this including sufficient context with countervailing views? That's compelled speech. That's not free speech. They're compelling you to do that under threat. So no, they don't care about free speech. They don't like free speech. What did the new CEO of Twitter say? Parag Agrawal. He said that Twitter should focus less on thinking about free speech, but thinking about how the times have changed. Yeah, the people who run these big companies, they're this elite class of oligarchs who all know each other and they all agree with each other. And they don't care about free speech. In fact, they don't like it. But anyway, as she continued, quote, "This blatant censorship should concern every American. If they can silence a former president, they can silence any citizen who they view as stepping out of line. Oh, and they do. Do they ever? You know, unless you're their friend, like Hillary Clinton, who can call Trump an illegitimate president, no problem. And make no mistake, their rules, their terms of service, it's all total bull, right? They only like rules for you. They don't like rules for themselves. And that's the rules. That's really their terms of service. If they like you, anything goes. If they don't like what you think, they're going to crush you. Whether you've got a small YouTube channel or whether you're the former president of the United States. It's really actually terrifying stuff. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Please subscribe, like, and share. That really helps me out. If you'd just like to listen, there's the podcast version. It's on pretty much every platform. If you look for it, you will find it. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.